Thank you, Marcus, and thank you, Anna, and also thanks to Maree. I'd like to congratulate the Cairns and Far North Environment Centre on putting together this event. It's wonderful to have an event like this for us in Cairns. Usually we spend money on travelling down south and carbon miles on travelling to conferences down south, so it's great to see something like this in Cairns. Now, just get the clicker working. All right, here I am again. It wouldn't be a conference without a few technical difficulties to start with. I've got a presentation here today just to, I suppose, explore the context of what we're talking about when we talk about sustainability and a sustainable future. Now, what does sustainability mean, and how long have I got to talk about this? 10 minutes, okay, so I'm going to be fast. Sustainability, it's an elusive and it's also a confusing word. It confuses many people. It's used in many different contexts these days, and it is used a lot out of context. If you have studied sustainability, the definition that you'll probably be familiar with is from the Brundtland Commission, from Our Common Future, and that basically refers to sustainable development, and it talks about development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Now, we've all heard that many times, but what does it mean? One definition I've heard recently from primary school students is to have enough for everyone forever, and another definition that maybe we're a little bit more familiar with is sustainability really means the capacity to endure. Now, to explore what sustainability means in a specific context, it's really important to do this and to do it for ourselves, and it also requires us to step into a bit of a riddle. Now, I'd encourage each and every one of you, from an organisational perspective, if you're here representing an organisation, to seek out what sustainability means to you. When we seek sustainability, we are in fact seeking the ability to sustain something. Now, knowing what that thing is actually the key. So the correct approach is not necessarily to go looking for a definition of sustainability, but to seek your own definition. There are multiple definitions, each different or potentially appropriate, and the ability to define the right one is to provide you with the link between values and what your vision is. Now, this can be done on a large scale for a country, or it can be done right down to an individual organisation or even an individual or a household. So sustainability, it might be about meeting your own basic needs, it might be about a way of life, control over resources, an existing social order, it might be a position of economic advantage, community values, the future of humanity, or the future of the global biosphere as a whole. Phew. It may be about all of these things, but it can also be about what's going on now, or in the future, or a bit of both. So the question is, what do you want to sustain, for whom and for how long? No one can actually tell you what sustainability means. They can only really tell you what they mean by it. Now, I know that that does sound like a bit of a riddle, and just to become a little bit concrete, the context of a sustainable future, what we all really need to be doing is to live more sustainably. Now, if I could just put a few dot points onto that, it really means minimalising our use of natural resources, avoiding waste by reducing consumption, reusing and recycling, to not endanger or degrade the quality of life for other people, other species or future generations, to consider environmental, economic, social and cultural impacts in decision making, to protect the integrity of our natural systems, and to encourage economic prosperity, but not at the expense of the community or the environment. So the concept of sustainability is not new. It's been around for a long time, and much longer than this time frame goes back to. I start here around the 1960s. What you notice moving from the 1960s through to the present day is that the context of sustainability has changed, and it's moved from probably more of a natural environment-based definition to one which includes resource use and the consideration of the social dimension. So from Rachel Carson over 50 years ago, linking pesticide use to ecosystem decline and illness, to 20 years ago when the UN first defined what sustainable development was and identified a plan how to get there. So in these days, if you ask most people to define sustainability, usually you would hear these funny words like TBL or acronyms, TBL or QBL, talking about the triple or the quadruple bottom line approach, which really refers to our ability to make balanced decisions. So it talks about considering the environment, talking about considering the community, and talking about the economy when we make decisions. Now, if you're talking about quadruple bottom line, generally you would add either culture or governance to this mix. When you look at models for sustainability, you can look at intersecting circles, or you can look at concentric circles. The one that we see here basically refers to the fact that nothing truly exists without the natural environment sustaining us. In addition to looking at triple and quadruple bottom lines, when you're investigating sustainability, you'll find reference to environmental management systems, sustainable management systems, systems for managing these systems. You'll find sustainability for reporting metrics. You'll look at indicators, global reporting initiatives, and so on and so forth. What does all of this mean? It becomes quite confusing. And I think that the challenge for us, and I'm talking about us because we're all here at a Sustainable Leadership Conference, as leaders, is to navigate these complex systems, to translate them, and to assist those around us to use the most appropriate tools to realise a vision for a sustainable future. Now at Council, we embarked on a process to embed sustainability into the organisation, and this happened around about 4 years ago. This is a journey, we're never going to get to an end point, but what we've done is we've really asked ourselves what it is that we want to sustain, what is within Council's sphere of influence to sustain, and when do we wish to achieve it by. What we've come up with is a project which is called the Sustainability Scorecard. We've defined our own quadruple bottom line, and our quadruple bottom line at Council is believing that we have the ability to influence conserving biodiversity, we have the ability to improve our resource efficiency, to improve our community health and well-being, and to deliver good economy and governance. Now, when we take that drill down into a little bit more detail, you'll see under each of those quadruple bottom lines, we have some more, I suppose, tangible aspects of sustainability that we believe we can achieve. So greenhouse gas emissions, waste reduction, and etc. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about this framework, you're most welcome to talk to us about that. We now own this quadruple bottom line, which means that it's meaningful to our own activities. We basically now feel empowered to act on these elements of sustainability, and I'd encourage any organisation to undertake this kind of process to establish what sustainability truly means for you. Okay, so all of that philosophy aside, now what is our vision for a sustainable future? I've written down a couple of different points here, and this we're going to elaborate on this afternoon, I believe, in a workshop space. The vision is around clean air and water, healthy lifestyles, a healthy natural environment, diversity, culture, and all of those things that we would all like to see in our own world. In terms of how we can get to this or realise this vision, there are many opportunities that we have to realise this vision and to make it happen. So, talking about designing sustainable buildings, creating integrated systems, to plan for urban areas, minimise, to reduce our resource use, to relocalise ourselves, localise our food production, our energy production, and so on. The pathways and opportunities that we have are numerous, and the fact that we're all here today is testament to the fact that we have many partnerships in this region that we can build on to achieve a vision for a sustainable future for this region. The couple that I put at the bottom there, influence and the power to change, I believe that rests with a lot of us in this room, and I believe that we can all certainly work together to achieve this. At the end of the day, the biggest change starts with us believing that this can happen and then acting like we believe it. So by leading by example, we really can clean up our own backyards and also inspire many others. The ability to create change in this room today is truly significant, and I'd like to really encourage everyone to take that on board. And I'd like to perhaps challenge you to identify what your own sphere of influence is and to step into your power and imagine the changes that you can bring about. Todd Sampson from the Gruen Transfer says that the point of difference around leadership and sustainability is to stay brave for a little bit longer than those around you and to make decisive, creative choices in the face of fear. He says that if we can stay a little bit if we can stay brave a little bit longer, rather than backing away from innovation and solutions, we can reach heights that only we imagine. So I'd like to put that out there as a challenge, and I'd like to thank everyone, and I really look forward to the rest of today. Thank you.